If you would, stand with us. We'll say the pledge, then you can get back to your plates. I pledge allegiance to the flag. Together today, thank you for the volunteers that are in this room and each person that has given service to Mayfield. We continue to pray for their restoration and healing. And we ask you, Lord, that today as we bless the community, that bless them, that would be our mission for the entire year. Amen. You may be seated. Thank you for being here. There's a lot of mouths to feed today, but we're excited about that. We're excited about the fact that we are able to honor those that helped us with the project to Mayfield. That you're going to hear stories today from Ron especially, and we want to be able to congratulate them, honor them. This is just a little luncheon. I've never had anybody turn down food over the years, so I figured this was as good a thank you as we could do. I appreciate each and every one of you being here, and it certainly is an honor for Rotary to be able to just share with you our thanks and appreciation for doing that. And we're going to be talking about several things as we go here. We are very privileged today to have, I referred to her over the holidays, my boss. Jane Roush is with us, Governor of District 6540. She was very instrumental in getting us boots on the ground in Mayfield, and she just wants to make a few remarks. Thank you, Jane, for being with us.
And I just want to say thank you to you. And I heard a long time ago, a few months ago, actually, Mike, that president is above governor. So that just kind of tells you when you're trying to call me boss, I'm just the governor, you're the president. So the clubs. So mainly, though, I just want to say, the Rotarian motto is service above self. And that has certainly been displayed this year by the Rensselaer Rotary Club and the local community volunteers. And this year's theme, especially as you can see behind me, is serve to change lives. And that has definitely been achieved by your club and your community in giving to those in Mayfield and that area that has been so devastated. And I know that I can share the heartfelt thanks of Gail Story, who is the district governor in District 6710 in Kentucky. We've shared many a tear together of gratitude for all that you have done, both you and the Huntertown Club, in helping those less fortunate and so hit so hard at such a terrible time of the year. So I just want to say thank you. You've certainly just made me feel so pleased and proud to be a Rotarian.
Give yourselves a hand. Thank you, Jane. I think she's going to hang around for a little bit. I told her I'd buy her lunch, but she didn't want to make the trip. That's all right. Again, it's just there are so many stories. We're going to try to keep this condensed as much as we can. We know it's a shortened meeting. I'm told by several of the guys that are here today, we got a meeting to get to right after this. So we're going to try and just get as much as we can of a report put together today. There's a couple quick stories I want to tell before I introduce Ron to come and share with us what's on his mind and some of the stuff that he wants to share. But first of all, let me give you a real quick report. Rotary, in just cash alone, raised $10,600 just in about 5 days, I think it was. We took that was through our Facebook page. Now that was just what Rotary raised. I know there was other monies that were happening, and Ron can tell you about that, and that's exciting. People were giving gas cards and all kinds of stuff that, as far as cash is concerned. And So we turned around with that money and we spent about $4,000 of that in our local community buying materials. Two of the guys that aren't able to be here today own the hardware stores, and that's Fred Kim, who is a Rotarian, and Kevin Smith, who owns Smith Farm Store. Quick story: we gave them, we told them we were gonna. I don't know the exact numbers, but I know we started out with $1,000. We were going to start there. We were going to get coats from. We were going to get spend $1,000 for coats at Smith's and $1,000 worth of tools at Kim's. That's where we started. I think we wound up doubling that before it was all over with. But so we go to Smith's. Terry Fagley's not able to Rotarian, not able to be with us today. She goes to Smith. She cleans out the coat racks for the most part. Every time she takes a coat up, he discounts at half price. And we were trying to spend money to take stuff to Mayfield. At one point, she texted me. She said, "Do you know how hard it is to spend somebody else's money?" Because she went back to pick up all the stuff that was boxed up, and there was like 6 or 8 more boxes that were of new gloves and more stuff and hats and all kinds of stuff that were just donated. So that's exciting when the community gets involved at that level. And I know at one point, the second time around, Ron, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Kevin brought another truckload or 2 of just stuff. A pallet of just more tools that nobody paid for. They were just donated. And so that happened at Smith. Well, we tried to do the same thing at Kim's Hardware. Same story, almost identical. Filled a pallet, got all that done. He threw a bunch of extra stuff in, and on and on and on it goes. 1,000 stories I could tell just like that. So we're talking about local community businesses that got involved with our local community effort. And I know you guys that are sitting here were running around and picking up stuff at other places. I know you guys stood out in the cold, and I believe you even got a little bit of rain before it was all over with. It wasn't a whole lot, thankful. On the other end, there was a lot more. But I'm grateful for that, and I'm going to do my best not to choke up and cry today because I did all that for about 3 or 4 days. I mean, there were little old ladies. The one that got me, that dropped off a box at my office, she walked into my front door across the street with a box about this big, and she, in a frail voice, says to me, "I want to make sure this gets to Mayfield." I don't even know what was in the box, but I know it was everything that she had. And she walked around the building and put it on this pile in Bay 3. I was like, all right, that one got me. Matter of fact, got my whole crew. And so grown men cry. And it's okay, guys. It really is. It's okay. And I'm sure some of you guys had moments like that too. So Fred and Kevin, we thank them. They're going to be looking at this later. They're not able to be here. Then secondly was Brian Moore and John Castonia, who just opened. How many of you guys are any of you guys from Castonia's? I'm sorry, I don't know where everybody works. Whose guys are you? Tell me real quick. Who you connected to? I know some of you are just farmers, but is anybody connected to just farmers? All right, these guys didn't have nothing to do, so they stood out in the cold. Just farmers. Here, let me rephrase that. Let me rephrase that. Just farmers. Yeah, did that? No, it didn't help. All right, I tried. Exclusively. I thought actually some of you guys were employees of somebody else, but see, I have a whole nother respect now, and thank you from the bottom of my heart because I watched you guys. You did dig at me a little bit because I'm running around with my phone stuck up the side of my head trying to sort things out. And are you going to work? And I did have a pair of gloves, but they were in my pocket. So we did get to do a little of that. But thank you guys again. And I did want to recognize them. And Brian and John, neither one are able to be here from Brian Moore Trucking, who took a little 7.5 by 14 trailer, turned it into 2 semi trailers. Is what he's kind of magical at Christmas time. So that was a lot of fun. And most all of you know John Castonia as well. I was hoping he'd be able to be here today. So I don't know what else to say. This is certainly not the Mike show by any stretch, but this next guy, um, I've made a friend for life. He's kind of stuck with me because I've got his cell phone number, and we talked a lot. We had a couple moments, not with each other, but with people that were trying to derail the project, and we kept it on track. And I don't know what else to really introduce Ron. He's going to come and share whatever he wants for the rest of the meeting. We'll have time for questions as well. But I do want us to give a Rensselaer Rotary welcome to Ron Barlow as he comes and shares with us his perspective.
I normally don't do this, Mike, but
Does he need to hold this, or is it good where it's at? All right.
you didn't hold it.
I know. I got a big mouth.
You said it. Good afternoon, everyone. I just kind of want to tell how it started from kind of start to not totally finished, because there's a lot of things that didn't go as planned in Kentucky. But on Sunday, December 12th, I kind of felt I needed to deliver whatever items I could gather through donations and contributions and deliver these items to Mayfield, Kentucky, where a devastating tornado had left, we all know, many people with their lives changed forever. So I posted on Facebook that I would be collecting items on Monday, and would continue collecting items through Thursday. My intent then was to deliver them, all items were collected in our 7x14 dump trailer, and then leave the trailer there for them to use for cleanup. I posted this on Sunday, and then immediately after that, Terry Fagley messaged and asked if someone from Rotary could call me and make plans to assist in helping. That evening, Mike had contacted me. We kind of made some plans to help get this thing started. So on Monday morning, first thing in the morning, Garrett Dobson reached out to me and it's informed me that Brian Moore of Moore Trucking was willing to donate a 53-foot cargo van if we needed, which seemed like a pretty big van at the time, didn't it? We didn't know we could fill one van. So then Linda Scheid had contacted me and said that she was going to give it to John Castonian, see if John would let us make that a drop point where we could use their equipment to load and utilize that, and some of his employees to help us load things as we started this. So that all took place, and then that was all before 10 o'clock Eastern time Monday morning. Garrett had the cargo trailer dropped at Castonian's, and Linda established our second drop point. FTC was the first drop point, and then Castonian's. Steve Molinar contacted me, as well as his son Zach Molinar, and they arrived Monday morning with Dave Petro to help in loading all the items that were being donated. Everybody immediately came to Castonian's, helped load the trailer. Scott Green came out as well on Monday and began loading items along with Gary Streetmatter and Ryan Kessler, who does work for John. He's not here today, but he ran the telehandler most of the time that we were loading. Ned Tonner, which he's not here, is he yet?
He's in a meeting. He's on his way.
Okay. Well, everybody knows Ned probably anyway. So anyway, he quickly responded and set up our third drop point at his office in Rensselaer, and Mike quickly responded with the fourth drop point at his business here in Rensselaer. So that allowed most of the people at least a spot they knew and felt comfortable to deliver goods and items to. And everybody was overwhelmed. I don't know how many times, probably 3-4 trips out to your store.
Twice.
And then Ned. Yeah, I think the one was almost a complete trailer load, even enclosed trailer load. So, and then Ned's office the same way. He had several trips we made there to take those items to the van trailers. So that worked out great. I think none of us could have been more surprised at the outpouring of people with such wonderful donations of all sorts for the next 3 days. As we finished our second day of collecting items, we could see the possibility of needing another 53-foot cargo trailer, and Brian Moore committed again to another trailer with truck and drivers. We weren't sure. We got the first one filled. We got the second one filled, or almost filled. And we're gonna have plenty of room left. Well, then, along with everybody from Smith's and that too, the Goot Wine popcorn, sent a pallet of popcorn. We had the Humanitarian Distribution Center in Francisville. They donated a pallet of dry cereals or something, I think it was. And Danny Bishop was helped deliver all that stuff, pick those items up and deliver it to us, and many other trips from Francisville back to Rensselaer. So that pretty much helped finish off the second semi-trailer, the 53-foot semi-trailer. So I keep saying 53-foot because that's a lot of room. That's a lot of items. It's a lot of product that people were willing to send. So that's what's very important. I think that you realize how big a 53-foot cargo trailer is. That's a lot of stuff. So on Monday, Mike had shared with me a contact from Rotary in Mayfield, but I think their Rotary had been hit with it by the tornado too, right? They were set up in Paducah. I think you said we're operating out of Paducah.
They didn't have a post office anymore.
Yeah.
At Mayfield, and he said, just send everything to my house mail-wise. So,
okay. And that guy's name was John
Siako.
Okay. So
I finally learned it.
Okay. I've tried, but anyway, I don't want to get it wrong. So he was the initial contact from Rotary in Mayfield when we got there, so we had somebody to work with. And
he can still be followed on Facebook. Matter of fact, he posted some good stuff this morning. Those of you who are Facebook savvy, I wanted to mention that. Mayfield Rotary or John Siako will be posting, and it's fun to watch what's happening still. They're still getting on.
He's a super nice guy too, very easy to talk to, and really does care. So yeah, reach out to him if anything. But he was the first contact, and then so we made the arrangements to meet at the fairgrounds, and that's where we would be unloaded. So I followed up again on Thursday before I left. Our departure on Friday. As we all know, sometimes it goes planned. Our caravan consisting of 2 cargo trailers, trucks, and drivers. I want to mention their names too. Skeeter, I don't know his last name, but whoever knows Skeeter knows Skeeter. O'Brien. Okay. Dean Elijah, and the other guy I know him by Murph. I get to know him on the trip by Murph. I don't know what his Brian Murphy. Okay, and then his son, he was along with the trip too and helped unload stuff as well. And then Steve and Jody Molinar and their son Zach, Scott Green, Gary Streetmatter, Caleb Lehman, Bart Lehman, and Jason Bollinger. We all headed to Mayfield Friday morning, different times in the morning, but we all kind of staggered so we could get there. The goal was to get there to the fairgrounds in time before the trucks got there to kind of get that connection, get them where they were going, which that didn't work out so well either. But anyway, then the Rensselaer Fire Department allowed us to use their grill, so we could. Our plan was to take food to the people that had been, devastated and didn't have homes or food or stuff. So we got a nice big gas grill. We took that with us, and we had a lot of donations on as far as food wise too. We had so the Rensselaer Rotary donated 50 pounds of pork burgers. Rod Pardue with Rod's Pizzeria in Francisville donated 257 pounds of pork loins. Jeff Lowry from Francisville donated a cooler and 200 pounds of pork burgers. Jody and Steve Molinar donated many packages of hot dogs as well as hot dogs and hamburger buns. Zach and Danny Molinar donated several pounds of beef. Bart Lehman donated several pounds of hamburger as well as many other food items. And we were also able to prepare food for many, many people in Benton. Now, Benton wasn't talked about, wasn't much, said about Benton, but Benton was another town just outside of Mayfield that hadn't been directly impacted by the storm, but they had some people in the rural areas that had been, and they hadn't received any food, pretty much any support or items. So Steve and Jody went and talked to some people there in that town at the library. They said we could set up and serve. It was a drop point plus a pickup point, so people would come and deliver goods, and then the people would come pick up goods. So they would grab a sandwich or whatever. I don't know, we gave them lots of plates full of food to take home. There was people that didn't, back to the hotels that didn't have homes. So most of that food got cooked up there and sent with those folks that needed it. So that pretty much that was after the whole fiasco on Friday, which I'm not gonna get to a whole lot of details about that. We learned sometimes things, like I said, don't work out the way they should, but these guys all stayed. They helped unload every item that we were able to take, and they were able to palletize and get covered up. It was raining the whole time, so we had to use pallets and tarps to cover a lot of the products that we had delivered. So everybody stayed and helped take care of all that, and then we hope that nothing ever happens like this in our communities. But one of the guys that had come and gotten some food from us is an older gentleman and his wife and their kids. And he told me, he said, I just can't thank you guys enough for doing what you've done here. He said, we pray it never happens to your area, but know that if something happens in Indiana, we'll be there to do the same for you guys that you've done for us. And so that meant a lot, knowing that, there's people through clubs, through neighbors, through friends, family that still care to help. And so I'm gonna leave you guys with that. Thank you guys for the dinner, Rotary. Thank you for all the contacts. The other contacts, I want to mention the other ones, the people that were in Mayfield that I didn't never get to meet, that were part of the Rotary, that were all, Matt, I never did get his last name. He was very crucial in this whole thing because he had been helping at the fairgrounds several days, but he had to work the day we were there. And when we couldn't get unloaded, he ended up getting us with, they call him a judge there. It's basically chief commissioner here. His name was Jesse Perry. He's the one who made it all happen, that we could get everything unloaded. He's the one who said, we're taking the items. So Jesse Perry, Sandra Delk, she was another one with Rotary that had contacted with. She was trying to get us somebody to help us get unloaded and stuff. And Heather Foley, these are all people of the Rotary, I believe, in Mayfield. So those folks, we'd like to send a thank you out to them too. And again, Mike Pruitt, Ned Tonner, Garrett Dobson, Terry Fagley, Linda Scheid, Jeff Morrill, Steve and Jody Molinar, Zach and Danny Molinar, John and Arlene Castonia, Scott Green, Nick Green. I think another one of your sons, I can't remember his name. Evan was out and helped us load, and so we appreciate that. Again, Skeeter, Dean, Elijah, Brian Moore, yeah, the commitments that he made and getting the drivers down there, and those guys stayed with the whole time too. I think they left and drove back that morning after we had dinner, so they had a long trip. But Bart Lehman, again, Caleb Lehman, Jason Bollinger, Murph, Ryan Kessler, my wife Jennifer, Danny Bishop, Lacey McCarty helped deliver some stuff, and again, Dave Petros. So thank you guys for all your support and help in this project. So, for having me, Mike.
We can take a few questions. I do want to make a couple introductions, and Fred Kim did come in. You missed my spiel. You'll have to watch it later. Thank you, Fred, for all of your donations from Kim's Hardware. Ned Tonner, I've already kind of thrown him under the bus a couple times. I am never going formula baby diaper shopping with him ever again in my life. We're two old guys that don't belong in that section of Walmart. I'm sure of it. So, but Ned reached out to me and kind of started the ball rolling, and wanted to make sure that he heard my thank you as well. John, you have a question?
I had a question more for you. From the volunteer perspective, you had daylight, but probably no other light source other than flashlights. So I'm curious, a lot of the volunteers, they were there, it's raining, it's late at night. Did people sleep in their trucks? Did they just try to drive miles away and stay somewhere? I mean, what was
Yeah,
there?
I should have mentioned that too. So at the fairgrounds, of course, there was nothing in Mayfield, no place to stay. So Jody and Steve had booked some hotel rooms back in Paducah, which is only about a 30-minute drive from Mayfield. So we had a few hotel rooms. And Bart and Caleb and Jason, Bart took a camper down, and he had a lot of supplies in there. So we had a camper with water that we could wash up with, and then the awning, of course, and then they brought some canopies too for tents, so we had some light from the camper, and then they stayed on site at the fairgrounds and then in Benton. So that was really a blessing to have that. And I had some pictures. I need to try to get them to Mike, and he can show you guys sometime. But the setup was really nice with the awning out, and then the tents over top the grill, because it did rain the whole time. It got cold, and but that didn't stop people from coming to get a sandwich. They'd sit down, and we had a little heater, and they would visit and whatnot and stuff. So, but that's mainly what we did. We traveled. Some of us took Paducah back for the hotel rooms, and then stayed with those guys at the camper and took care of means that way.
Well, I bring it up because stories like this are important. I mean, I know everybody in this room feels this way. Rotary is built on service above self. And so it's not really that we're kind of acknowledging each other. That has nothing to do with it. There are so many people vicariously that live through these stories because they don't have a truck. They're not going to drive down to Kentucky. They couldn't lift or get a pallet of anything off a truck. No criticism, just the way it is. But like the story you shared about the older woman, everybody wants to do something. And it's important to them that they get the circle closed, that they hear that it actually happened. That's the number one thing we hear over and over again. Did it happen? And so stories like this are important because people hear about it and they want to know that their actions matter, that something happened. Makes them feel good. There's lots of volunteers out there.
Absolutely. So real quick, if you guys, I'm going to kind of put you on the spot. I referred to you as Just Farmers, but just tell me your names, starting down there at the other end. Just say your name, just so I can put a name with a face. Bart.
Jason Bollinger.
Okay.
Caleb Lehman.
All right.
Steve Molnar. Garrett Dobson. Zach Molnar.
Jennifer Barlow.
In charge.
Danny Bishop.
Danny Bishop. Who else? Oh, we got a couple more over here. Go ahead.
Seth.
Dave Petro.
Scott Green. You got Gary Dodd.
Who'd I miss? All right. All right. That's that. I think. And then Ned, introduce our guest. I know he's a guest of yours.
It's Jim Hall from White Castle.
400 White Castle buns. That's what he did. And he was happy to do it. So he stayed up all night to make sure they got on the truck. So I wanted to do that real quick. The rest of us are Rotarians here, I think, including Mary Beth, whether she likes it or not. Yes, you are a Rotarian because Matt makes you do all the work. But I do appreciate, again, just each and every one of you that have something that you did, and I hope it was good memories. And I will say this, I can make my contact available if you want to do that. If you have pictures, shoot them to me, guys. If you got those, send them to Ron, send them to me, however that worked. I'll do one more photo dump because I think what John said was very important. I'll do one more photo dump on our update on our page. And I know that District 6540 is online with us today too. I just noticed that I cheated. I looked at Facebook and the district is running this live on their feed as well. So there's a lot of people looking at you today, just so you know. That's kind of exciting. So we'll do that. They put out a newsletter. I think I sent one page of that to you, Ron. They'll do it again. I'm sending them more stuff. And so that kind of stuff is exciting. The timing of this, Ron alluded to that, and I just wanted to kind of circle back around. How many of you, it's kind of a redundant question, but how many of you had Christmas stuff going on while you were trying to do this? Just go ahead and raise your hand because you all did. Some of you were buying engagement rings. No, I'm just kidding. So you were looking for, there was a lot of stuff going on. And I remember I had no problem sleeping at night at all. And what little bit of sleep did happen because it was just, there was a lot of stuff going on, Christmas parties and all kinds of stuff going on. And so, again, I know it's very appreciated. I will encourage you, I'm repeating this, if you have opportunity, get on the Rotary Club of Mayfield or Mayfield Rotary Club, I believe is how the handle is. You'll find it. It pops up right away on Facebook. Follow John Siaco. He's been very diligent. Just today, there was $2,500 worth of gift cards that was donated that were handed to the kids at school. It's exciting stuff to me. I'm like, wow, that's neat. There's been books and all kinds of stuff. So it keeps on going. I'll circle back around and I'm going to wrap this up here pretty quick because I'm sure you're tired of listening to me. I sure am by now. But the remaining $6,000 we have, I'm going to be collaborating with our governor. I have a full page of different directions that can go. I want to talk with Ron and a few others as to exactly where we might put that. I don't feel like we're done, to be honest. And you go, oh my God, we're loading another semi truck. Oh no, we're done with that. That phase is over. But I don't think we're done. I think that. How many remember the tornadoes of Joplin, Missouri? How many years has it been? 10? 12? It was 2012, so 2011. They still not have rebuilt. There are buildings that still have not been rebuilt. There are parts of Joplin, Missouri that still look like tornado. So that's 10 years ago. So Mayfield, same situation, and that entire strip up through there, whether it's Benton or wherever, that entire strip up through there, it's going to take a minute. So I don't feel like we're done. I've got 6 more months as a Rotary president before they run me out of town, or at least away from the podium and the microphone. And I plan on doing a couple more pushes to be able to send them money. And the exciting part about this, and this is what I love about Rotary, it's why I'm a member of Rotary, is because we say 99.8% of all our money goes to what it is appropriated for. That is confirmed by I don't know how many studies and how many people, but a lot of them that have looked at a lot of charities who cannot say that. And I asked at one meeting several years ago, I said, why do we say 99.8%? And the answer was because nobody's perfect. So that was the answer. We're all volunteers, so the money gets to where it's going. So my point is this: we can continue to do that, and we get the biggest bang for our buck. And that's exciting to me because that money then lands exactly where our heart felt desires were in the very first place. So excited about that. The only other thing, in case my cousin is watching this, because he made right in the middle of all the mayhem that was going on, Scott Pruitt, who has a construction business in Eddyville, Kentucky, which was right along that same strip. It hit the edge of their town. Took time out of his busy construction business because he's being pulled everywhere now to work in that entire area. He's about 25 miles north east, straight up the highway from there at Mayfield. He called me and he said, Mike, I just want to thank you from Mayfield, from my community, and we'll tell everybody thank you for what you're doing to help us get back on our feet down here. So that's my stomping ground down there. Met with my sister over the holidays, and we got on the map, dropped a few pins, and we was trying to figure out where this Motor Mouth Pruitt came from, and that was the area right in there, just on the very north tip is where Daddy was born. So of that whole thing. So I want you to leave here today knowing beyond the shadow of a doubt you made an impact. I know it changed some of you because I've talked to some of you. And Ron, I can't say thank you enough for your heart. Ned, I can't thank you enough for your tenacity. You're a dang bulldog, dude. Even today, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And I'm like, holy smokes, I am never going to get anything done while Ned's around. I love him to death. He's been a personal friend. My middle name's Edward, and his middle name is Edward. right? No,
My real name is Edward.
his real name is Edward. So I refer to him as Big Ed, and I'm Little Ed. So that's how that works. How'd you wind up with Ned? I wanted you to have a few minutes, Ned, and then we're going to wrap this up.
Oh, I just want to thank everybody. You guys were just amazing. Ron and your team and the Castonian group, I was just blown away by how all this came together and happened. And, it just started with an idea where Mike and I started talking about if we could do something to help, and we found out about Ron. And it just was amazing to see how the community kind of came together. We just started putting the word out. Mike and I would meet every morning, try to discuss how to get the word out. And we had 4 days? 4 days to do this, 5 days? But I was really proud of Rotary, because the thing that really added to this is that our reputation confirmed that this was valid. When people found out that Rotary was behind this, it was like we had credibility. They knew that when Rotarians start to put something together, they will get the job done. We have a good reputation across the world for meaning what we say and doing what we say we will do. And it was neat that the DeMont Rotary Club joined us. It was neat that we networked into Mayfield Rotary. And then the community just started pouring in on the whole thing. We had people outside the area that were just giving things. Local businesses like Fred Kim and K&G, Outlet, Smith, True Value. Everybody came together, White Castle. It was just really cool. So I want to thank you very much for everything that you did.
Thank you, Ned. If you need something done, go ahead. He deserves a hand. I'm all right with that. I kid him all the time. Attorneys don't get a lot of credit anyway. So only when it goes right. Yeah, I appreciate his friendship. The very last thing I want to do today, Ron, we try to give all our speakers, and this one means especially something to me. This is a cup from the Rotary Club of Rensselaer, Indiana. I don't know if coffee's your brew. My personal theme for Rotary this year is each one bring one, each one drink one. It's a dark blue cup, put whatever you want to in it, brother.
Thank you, Mike.
Don't tell the governor I said all that. Oh wait, she might have.
I wouldn't say a word.
She's listening. She's listening. We have the Rotary four-way test. Let me say a couple things. Rotarians know what it is. The four-way test is quite simple. This is what every Rotarian asks himself on a daily basis. These are the 4 questions that we live by. This is how and why we are Rotarians, because this is what it's all about. So I'm going to ask you to stand with me, and we're just going to say these 4 things. Hold it, don't stand yet, because we had a bunch of people that are gamblers here today. I apologize. I don't know how much is in the kitty. I know how much was in the kitty. I said, we put the wrong guy up here. Not just kidding. I pick on everybody. So we're at $112 for today, and you're sitting right here being all smiley, and I'm going to count that money before you leave. Reach in there and pull that ticket out and read off the numbers for me, if you would, please.
9654253.
Who we got? 253. Is that the mayor? All right, the mayor's a gambler. Everybody make sure that gets out in the newspapers. Oh, yeah, like anybody read that. He's looking for the Queen of Hearts. I believe you. Wait a minute, I believe you. Go ahead. He's looking for the Queen of Hearts. He'll get half the money. He got the 8 of spades, and I'll go to Las Vegas because I don't think you Now, if you would, please stand with me. Apologize for that. First, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Have a great afternoon, everybody.